In a world where the lines between good and evil are increasingly blurred, what would happen if an ordinary person suddenly became a murderer? A Killer Paradox topped the charts in 12 countries within 6 days of its release. Just how amazing is this series? Well, let us begin our story for today. Lee Tang, after completing his military service, enrolled in a less than prestigious university. To ease the financial burden on his family, he chose to work part-time at a convenience store. That night, while working the night shift, he encountered a particularly annoying old man. Not only was he constantly swearing, but he also refused to pay. Luckily, the old man's friend was reasonable, and paid for it. After the night shift, Lee Tang borrowed a hammer from the store owner, to go home and hang the new decorative painting he bought. On his way home, he saw the unpleasant uncle from earlier, collapsed in a dark alley. He called the uncle's friend over, to ask what happened, but the uncle swore, telling him not to interfere in other people's business. Annoyed, Lee Tang gave him the middle finger. To his surprise, the uncle, with a cold expression, walked over and gave him a beating. Lee Tang was beaten until he was dazed. When he was in the military, when he was in school, memories of being bullied kept coming back to him. Where did he get the courage? Where did he get the courage? Even years later, Lee Tang still could not figure it out. He only remembered that night, holding an iron hammer, unleashing all the humiliation buried for so long. Suddenly, it started to pour heavily, washing away the soul of the weak. Lee Tang seemed to snap out of a daze. Panic mixed with fear, leaving him unsure of what to do. In the distance, the laughter of two drinkers suddenly echoed. Lee Tang instinctively wanted to flee, but just as he turned around, he saw a girl in a yellow shirt standing at the end of the alley. Luckily, she was blind. Lee Tang was both scared and felt lucky. When he got home, he rushed into the bathroom, turned on the tap, trying to wash away the fresh blood and the ghee. But his dead uncle suddenly appeared. He said he has an elderly mother with dementia, and 3 children to look after. If Lee Tang did that, what would that make him? Lee Tang jolted awake. He stared at the dark ceiling, then shot upright. It seemed he would left the weapon at the scene. Detective Zhang glanced at the body. Last night, 2 men died in the alley. Surveillance cameras did not capture the events of the case. He walked into the convenience store at the entrance of the alley, and asked who was on the night shift last night. As soon as he finished speaking, Lee Tang, who works the morning shift, arrived. Detective Zhang Khaled Lee Tangutsid. He was asked if he would heard anything last night. Lee Tang's heart sank. Just then, Chung Jin, Detective Zhang's subordinate, came over and said, "They have found a witness." Last night, the 2 deceased argued because they were drunk, and eventually fought. Forensics just checked the DNA at the scene. The fatal wound of the deceased, Lee Guang-hoon, matches Kim Myung-jin's Bluetooth speaker. It matches a brick. Lee Guang-hoon's fingerprints were on the brick. It is almost certain it was a fight that led to his death. Very soon, the reason the 2 fought has also been investigated. According to Lee Guang-hoon's wife's testimony, her husband and Kim Myung-jin met at the construction site. The 2 of them often drank together at home. Over time, she developed feelings for Kim Myung-jin, but secrets always come out. It seems they had a fight over this. Lee Tang was still unaware of this. He had been living in fear for 3 days, until he heard the news that the back alley brawl had a new development. The police discovered the DNA of the deceased, Kim Myung-jin, turned out to be a perfect match to the DNA of the culprit in the 2009 Kongwon-do serial murder case. Lee Tang had planned to turn himself in, but when he heard that person was a wanted criminal with a bounty of over 100 million, he immediately abandoned that idea. Lee Tang jolted awake from a nightmare once again. What he did not know was, the nightmare would soon become reality. In a villa in the wealthy Kongnam area, the girl in the yellow shirt who stood at the end of the alley that night was playing ball with her pet dog, on the coffee table on the 2nd floor.
Les hammer used to murder Kim Myung-jin.
Detective Jang was sitting in the hospital room, listening to his mother complain. His comatose father has been bedridden for over 3 years. Years ago, Detective Jang's father was also a police detective, but after an accident, he fell into a vegetative state. Just as Lee Tang was returning to normal from that near-death state, a customer suddenly walked into the store.
The girl said, "Oh, right. 2 million yuan."
Lee Tang asked her what she meant. She then took off her glasses. She said she was not blind. That night, she saw it clearly.
Lee Tang's hammer
had knocked down that uncle. The hammer is now with the little girl. 2 million. Not expensive. Lee Tang was completely shaken. He checked his account balance. He basically did not have 2 million, and he could not report this to the police. After all, his weakness was in their hands, but he could not just ignore it.
If that girl goes to police,
his life will be ruined. With no other option, Lee Tang could only go to the convenience store owner, saying he had an urgent matter, and wanted a 3-month salary advance. Although the owner grumbled, he still transferred the money to Lee Tang. Lee Tang went as agreed.
To the girl's house.
The girl was making coffee. While introducing herself as Sean Yeo, Lee Tang took out the money, and counted the bills on the table. Sean Yeo looked and nodded, saying that this is the amount to be paid every month from now on. The room suddenly fell silent. Lee Tang thought he misheard. Sean Yeo took a hammer out of the drawer. She said not reporting a crime is also a crime. Since she was taking such a big risk, it was only natural for Lee Tang to give her hush money every month. Speaking of which, he also had her dog to thank. That dog just kept licking one thing after another. Otherwise, Lee Tang would have gone to jail. He did not want to drag things out any longer. He walked over and snatched the hammer. Then he turned and walked towards the door. Sean Yeo slowly read out his university name, home address, and family members. She asked him if he still wanted to graduate. Of course he did. Fresh blood gushed out,
dripping onto the spinning windmill.
Lee Tang fled in a panic, leaving countless pieces of evidence at the scene. A few days passed quickly. The milkman noticed that the milk at Sean Yeo's house was piling up. He climbed over the wall to look inside, got scared and fell down. The police quickly sealed off the scene. The dog ran wildly in the yard. For several days after Sean Yeo died, it dug a large hole in the yard. The forensic team examined this hole, and found 2 decomposed bodies. Lee Tang stayed in his rented room for 3 days. His mind was filled with images of the dead Sean Yeo. He was very curious. Why had not the police come to arrest him yet? At the police station, Chung Jin looked at the autopsy results. There were no signs of forced entry at Sean Yeo's house. There was only dog saliva on the coffee cup, and the same on the tea table.
Inside and outside the house.
Everywhere. It took 3 days to clean up the evidence thoroughly. But Detective Jang is no fool. He quickly discovered something suspicious. If there were no outsiders, why did Sean Yeo use a paper cup for her coffee? Chung Jin reminded him. This time the case analysis meeting is to discuss the people Sean Yeo murdered. Forensic tests revealed the remains in the yard belonged to Sean Yeo's adoptive parents, who had been missing for years. Detective Jang learned through interviews with Sean Yeo's friends and relatives. Seon Yeo was orphaned at a young age, and was later adopted by the two of them. They treated her like their own daughter, and they sent her to the best school in the local area. Thanks to that, she got to know a few friends from wealthy families. To fit in better with her group of friends, she used the pocket money she had saved for many years to buy 8 life insurance policies for her adoptive parents. After that, she created an accident. The media quickly reported on this incident. Lee Tang watched the news. He had intended to turn himself in, but then, he gave up on that idea. Officer Chung Jin, according to regulations, took the dog to be put down. On the way, he encountered 2 drunk thugs. One of them smashed a liquor bottle. and stabbed Chung-jin, knocking him to the ground. This scene was coincidentally witnessed by Lee Tang, who was out looking for food. As Detective Jang looked at the body, he recognized one of them. It was the first criminal case he would been in charge of when he was a rookie. The victim's name is Yun Seo. She was an all-around good student. She got into the best high school. Unfortunately, she caught the attention of two male students.
Trash 10 trucs not long after.
Yun Seo jumped from a height, ending her young life.
Détective Jang cogt some juvénile délinquant.
The case originally had clear evidence, but due to the manipulation of the suspect's parents, it was turned into a case with insufficient evidence. The case dragged on until the statute of limitations expired without a verdict. Those individuals thereby escaped legal punishment. Yun Seo's father appealed for many years because of this, but he never received the desired outcome. In his rented house, Lee Tang received a private chat invitation. Curiosity made him click on it. The other person actually called him by his name. Lee Tang was startled. He hurriedly closed the software. The mailman delivered a letter. Lee Tang opened it to take a look. It turned out to be a court summons. Before that, he had taken a 3-month salary advance. After the first case, he stopped going to work. The convenience store owner sued him for fraud. Detective Jang also saw this notice. Recently, there have been 3 consecutive murders. He spent a week checking surveillance footage, discovered that student named Lee Tang kept appearing at the crime scenes. It is hard not to be suspicious, but just then, Young Jae went to Yun Seo's father, wanting to learn about the rape case from that year. Yun Seo's father poured him a glass of juice. He said, "I killed them." Lee Tang had been thinking for a whole week. This time, there was no reason to hide anymore. He packed the murder weapon into a bag, then called the police station. The officer on duty checked for a moment, and saw that court summons, but there were too many people turning themselves in. The police station could not handle it. The officer on duty told Lee Tang to come back at 9 p.m. Inside the police station, Yun Seo's father had confessed to the murder. Detective Jang heard the news and rushed over. He entered the interrogation room with the statement, and asked Yun Seo's father to sign it. Yun Seo's father lowered his head. Detective Jang asked him if he wanted a cigarette. Yun Seo's father said he quit smoking many years ago. Detective Jang continued asking, "Then why did you confess for someone else?" Yun Seo's father looked up blankly. Detective Jang said, "One of the victims had cigarette burn scars on their face, indicating the culprit was a smoker." The autopsy results showed the 2 deceased struggled fiercely before they died, indicating they were not killed in a surprise attack.
The fatal wound is on the right side of the head,
suggesting the culprit is right-handed, but Yun Seo's father just signed with his left hand. Having said that, he left the interrogation room without looking back.
À moment laté, Détective Jang fin Young Jae,
telling his student not to act rashly. This case is not that simple. Only then did Young Jae realize he had made a big mistake. He had just called the victim's mother, telling her they had identified the suspect. Detective Jang asks where Yun Seo's father is. Young Jae says, "Has been released." Detective Jang rushed to the hospital, and asked Yun Seo's father if he knew the culprit. Yun Seo's father sighed. A few days ago, he happened to come across some news, and saw that someone had avenged their daughter. He did not have the courage to kill anyone, but he was willing to take the blame for the culprit. As someone who went through the Yun Seo case, Detective Jang can understand Yun Seo's father's actions, but even if you want revenge,
you should follow the path of the law.
Yun Seo's father weakly replied, "If the law could punish the culprits, those 2 punks would be in prison by now. They probably would not have died so quickly." It was already 9 p.m. After taking a deep breath, Lee Tang intended to go to the police station to turn himself in. The 2 robbers looked for a deserted place, but when they opened the bag, there was not a single cent inside. Both of them angrily threw the bag into the river. The hammer and brick were stained with the victim's blood,
slowly sinking into the lake.
At the same time, Yoon Seo's father sat in a wheelchair, remembering what happened last week. He received a mysterious chat invitation. The other person told him to go ahead and take revenge. Someone would come to handle the aftermath. Yoon Seo's father mustered all his courage, followed the two young masters into the alley, but saw someone had already made a move. In a daze, he seemed to see the mysterious person from that day, and immediately followed in his wheelchair, but unfortunately fell when turning the corner. By the time he lifted his head again, that person had already disappeared at the exit. Lee Tang poked his head out, asked if he needed any help. He told Lee Tang to leave quickly. There are police in the hospital. Lee Tang recalled the mysterious conversation that day. He asked if he had sent someone to steal his bag. Yoon Seo's father repeated once more. He told Lee Tang to quickly leave the hospital. Yoon Seo's father returns to the hospital room, remembering his daughter Yoon Seo. Now that he has taken revenge, he takes a handful of sleeping pills, planning to end his life. For months quickly passed. That night, Prosecutor Ji is drunk. He called for a designated driver. As soon as he got in the car, he fell asleep. When he woke up, it was the next life. For the past 4 months, the police department set up a special task force for the two young masters. They have been working around the clock, but they have not uncovered a thing. After the special investigation team was disbanded, the case returned to Detective Jang. To quickly solve the case, he sought out Ro Bin, an IT specialist. He threw the recent case reports onto the table, and asked him if he had any ideas. Ro Bin is a hacker. He is obsessed with murders. He was caught by Detective Jang for hacking the police station server. After looking at the files, Ro Bin saw this does not look like a serial murder case. The weapons are different. The methods of the crimes are also different. There is no connection between the victims either. But if we had the prosecutor's files as well, the situation would be different. The culprit did not just use a knife, but also accurately stabbed the heart. The wounds on the body are very neat and flat, showing no hesitation during the act.
Judging from the time of the crime.
These cases are getting cleaner and cleaner.
Detective Jang, you understand now.
The culprit is constantly evolving. The murder methods are becoming more sophisticated. Ro Bin smiled and nodded.
After Detective Jang left, the doorbell rang.
The visitor was Lee Tang, who had been missing for 4 months. Ro Bin told Lee Tang to be careful. There is a police officer with a very sharp sixth sense. Upon hearing this, Lee Tang hurriedly left. When he came downstairs, he bumped into Young Jae. Young Jae asked him how many meals he had delivered. Young Jae returned to the car, saying that Ro Bin only ordered 1 meal. It must be just one person. I see. Detective Jang did not leave at all. He watched the delivery man leave. Suddenly felt a bit familiar, but by the time he could react, Lee Tang had already run away. Detective Jang quickly told Young Jae to chase him. As for him, he rushed upstairs, asking Ro Bin how many people he had killed. Ro Bin loudly protested his innocence, which infuriated Detective Jang. So I dealt with Ro Bin. You have found out quite a bit, have not you?
And you dare bring up violent coercion to me.
15 minutes later,
Young Jae knocked on the door,
reporting that the delivery guy who fled had been caught. Detective Jang went to take a look. This person was not Lee Tang at all. He was about to lose his temper when the team leader called. Just now, Detective Jang became a famous streamer. Why does Ro Bin know Lee Tang? This story begins 4 months ago, after Lee Tang escaped from the hospital and returned to his rented room. To avoid involving his family, he left a suicide note for his parents. Then he went on the run. In the following week, he traveled through many cities. At first, he planned to flee abroad, but he ran into Ro Bin on the subway. Ro Bin was crazy about Batman and Robin comics. He dreamed of punishing evil like comic book characters. He spends all day online searching for evidence of crimes. If the deceased happens to be a scumbag, he will help the killer cover up their tracks. This is his favorite game. He wants to invite Lee Tang to join him, for the two of them to do something big together.
Lee Tang refused without hesitation.
He said he killed on impulse, but Robin did not think so. 3 consecutive cases, all the victims were bad people. He believed Lee Tang had a kind of gift. He could smell bad people. As long as Lee Tang agreed, he could provide a new identity and evidence. On the table was evidence of a prosecutor raping a high school girl. Behind the display cabinet were tools. If Lee Tang agrees to join, we can leave now. Returning to the present.
Détective Chang, for illegal trespassing
and excessive use of force, was suspended from duty due to multiple complaints. Lee Tang officially joins. He and Robin become vigilantes of the night, a person responsible for collecting evidence of crimes. In a short 4 months, 2 people committed numerous murders, turning Seoul into a small Gotham. To better conceal himself, Lee Tang got a job at a supermarket in his hometown. That day, a girl named Jeong-ah was being harassed by a customer. Lee Tang stepped in to help the girl. During the night shift,
Jeong-ah and Lee Tang start talking.
The two of them have a lot in common. Both are in their 20s and from out of town. Whenever asked about their past, they change the subject. They keep their distance from everyone. At first, Lee Tang does not respond, but he feels like he has met Jeong-ah somewhere before.
The girl smiled.
She said many men have watched her video. The video was uploaded by her ex-boyfriend, the kind that cannot pass censorship. Lee Tang threw away the cigarette in his hand. He awkwardly left. The next day, Jeong-ah's mother arrived from Seoul. I met my daughter at a restaurant, wanting to persuade Jeong-ah to come back, but Jeong-ah's attention was on a man. After what happened, she could not stand men looking at her anymore. Do you see women from adult films in real life?
Does it feel good?
Didn't you go to Kwanchon Elementary School before?
Meeting en acquaintance.
They chatted naturally. Jeong-ah's mother was happy to see her daughter socializing with friends. She left the restaurant first.
Night falls.
Sang-min took Jeong-ah home. Downstairs, he wanted to ask for contact information, but Jeong-ah refused. But just a few days later, Jeong-ah received a call from Sang-min. The first thing he said was, he was being blackmailed over sex chat. Jeong-ah had not planned to meet him, but thinking about what she had gone through, she still decided to meet him. Sang-min's condition was much worse than last time. He said he lost a truth or dare game with friends. To save face, he stripped. Turns out, he was unexpectedly set up. Now he has even lost his job. His girlfriend is gone too. He kind of does not want to live anymore. Jeong-ah told Sang-min not to think like that. The video was not made public. That was already fortunate enough. The two of them talked late into the night. Sang-min could not drive because he had been drinking, so he stayed over at Jeong-ah's place.
Jeong-ah, do you want to come to bed?
Sang-min recalled the tenderness of that night. Though his body returned to Seoul, his soul remained in Busan. His girlfriend asked him what was wrong. Sang-min shook his head and said he was fine. Actually, Sang-min was not blackmailed at all. After eating, he again used work as an excuse to go to Busan. After a passionate encounter,
Jeong-ah mustered up the courage.
She suggested going back to Seoul with Sang-min, to start life again. As soon as she finished speaking, Sang-min's phone immediately rang. He glanced at it, and immediately put the phone face down on the nightstand. Jeong-ah turned and got out of bed, and picked up Sang-min's phone.
Saw the wedding invitation video.
Sang-min walked over and snatched the phone. Jeong-ah slapped him back.
Sang-min cursed loudly, calling Jeong-ah a bitch.
After cursing, he turned around to leave, but Jeong-ah pulled him back. Jeong-ah threatened to make this public. She had just finished speaking,
when Sang-min strangled her,
and violently pushed her onto the bed. You bitch.
Why are you pushing me like this? Jeong is dead.
The next day, Detective Jang and Lee Tang saw the news report simultaneously. A fire broke out in an old apartment complex. A woman died in her home. This news quickly spread throughout the supermarket. Just as everyone was discussing it, Lee Tang noticed a man staring intently at him. After walking past several aisles, that man was still following him. Lee Tang abandoned his shopping cart. He rushed towards the main entrance. He saw Detective Jang. He bolted. He ran straight to the warehouse. As he was about to burst out, he was tripped by a leg that suddenly shot out, and he fell to the ground. Lee Tang turned around. He heard a strange man speak. The Deep Alley case was not handled cleanly enough. Neither was Seon Yeo's case. Before he could finish, the sound of rushing footsteps echoed from afar. Lee Tang stood up and darted out of the cargo hold. The man was hot on his heels. By the time Detective Jang arrived, they had both vanished without a trace. The next day, Sang Min came home from work and saw a man sitting outside his door. The man pulled a police ID from his pocket. It read, Criminal Investigation Unit.
Song-chon.
Sang Min swallowed and invited the man inside.
Song-chon got straight to the point.
Asking about Jeong-oh's case, Sang Min admitted he had gone to Busan, and also admitted sleeping with Jeong-oh, but he denied killing her. Song-chon smiled and nodded. He took tape and rope out of his bag. Sang Min demanded to see a search warrant. He was immediately punched twice by Song-chon and knocked to the ground. Elsewhere, Lee Tang called Ro Bin, telling him his cover was blown. A detective named Jang had chased him to Busan. Ro Bin told Lee Tang not to worry. He said he would already planned everything. Meanwhile, Song-chon reads the self-reflection report written by Sang Min. He discovered that Sang Min only wrote about the process of killing, but did not write the reason. But now it is too late to add it. He has already killed the person. After cleaning up the scene, he placed several gas canisters on the induction cooktop. As he was leaving, he just happened to pass by Detective Jang. Young-jae arrives at Sang Min's door. Knocks repeatedly, but no one opens the door. He puts his ear to the door to listen.
Robin arrive home
and sees Song-chon sitting on a chair. Before he could even greet him, he gets a good beating. The two of them used to be business partners. Later, Song-chon fled abroad, and they never met again. After venting his anger, Song-chon sat back down. He told Ro Bin to hand over Lee Tang's contact information.
Ro Bin lit,
saying that Lee Tang had fled. He could not contact him either.
Song-chon gave Ro Bin 3 days
to arrange for Lee Tang to meet him where he wanted. After saying that, he immediately stood up and headed for the door. At the hospital, Young-jae changed his clothes. He had just received a message from Ro Bin, asking him to come over to his house. But just as he arrived at the gate, he ran right into Song-chon. Before Young-jae could even open his mouth, he was thrown to the ground by Song-chon. Right after that, he was thrown out the window. The next day, Detective Jang rushed to the police station. Ro Bin brought documents about Song-chon, and he offered to cooperate with Detective Jang to bring Song-chon to justice. At this moment, Song-chon is on the rooftop, teaching a lesson to two young people who disrespected elders. What he did not know was, these two young people had significant backgrounds. The girl was the heir of a construction group. This incident quickly attracted the attention of the police department. Superiors put a lot of pressure to solve the case. The newly appointed Chief Chu sought out Detective Jang. He offered him a condition for reinstatement. The prerequisite was to solve the case within a time limit. Detective Jang did not even think. He agreed immediately. He wanted to avenge Young-jae.
Tout eliminate Song-chon.
Ro Bin went to the corporation alone to hand over Song-chon's documents. At this moment, he received a call from Lee Tang, asking what kind of person Song-chon really was. Ro Bin recalled a year ago.
Et ça Song-chon est tu causing trouble on the street.
Sir, please join me in bringing justice to this world. How about it? Lee Tang requested a meeting with Song-chon. Ro Bin immediately came up with a plan. That evening, Lee Tang followed Song Chon's instructions, went to an abandoned disco.
Song Chon cam tout recruit.
He wanted Lee Tang to work for him. While the two were talking, Robin, based on the location, led the group's men to the nightclub. Lee Tang rejected Song Chon's offer. He said he already had a partner. Song Chon waved his hand,
Telling Lee Tang not to be naive anymore.
Robin is the type to burn bridges. He is only like this because he slipped up once. I was betrayed and had to flee the country. I hid for over a year before I dared to return. Lee Tang asked Song Chon why he killed people. Song Chon said he had been a detective for over 10 years, and arrested countless criminals. Then he helplessly watched the poor get sentenced to death, while the rich escaped the law's punishment. Instead of doing such a futile job, it is better to directly use vigilantism to carry out justice. After saying that, he patted Lee Tang on the shoulder, telling the young man to think carefully about his offer. Lee Tang was knocked down to the ground.
The corporation S men camine.
Lee Tang took advantage of this opening to struggle to his feet, and staggered away from the club. Facing such a large crowd, Song Chon did not flinch at all. He was like a ravenous beast, pulling out his loaded gun, and charged in alone. As clubs were swinging, Song Chon fought while retreating. He only had 6 bullets, but did not waste a single round. People fell one after another. Song Chon kept attacking, finally ending the battle with a real bullet. By the time the special police arrived, Song Chon had disappeared without a trace. The next day, through checking surveillance cameras, we have identified everyone who entered and exited the nightclub. Besides Lee Tang and Robin, there was also an old acquaintance of his,
Song Chon.
Meanwhile, elsewhere, Robin bought a run-down car, planning to go abroad with Lee Tang to lay low for a while. Lee Tang was hesitant and undecided. He was worried that this trip, he would never be able to return. Robin said he had planned everything, and it was just going out to hide for a while. They would return once things calmed down. There would absolutely be no problem. But trouble occurred on Detective Jang's side.
We could not catch Song Chon.
The group chairman has been arrested. An hour ago, Song Chon intercepted the chairman's secretary. After a friendly exchange, he asked for the chairman's whereabouts, because he lost his granddaughter. The chairman found a girl around his granddaughter's age to seek comfort.
Song Chon slowly get up from the sofa.
He says the corporation, in the process of clearing the site, has at least caused the deaths of many people. Thinking of the families of those victims, he feels the need to solve the problem from its roots. As he finishes speaking, Detective Jang's shouts are heard from outside, telling Song Chon to open the door. The aorta. Song Chon warned him again. He told Detective Jang not to act rashly. If he pulled out the bottle opener, not even the gods could save the chairman. Detective Jang told Song Chon to go ahead. He would only promise to solve the case by the deadline, not to ensure the chairman's survival. Song Chon looks at Detective Jang. The more he looks, the more familiar he seems. Then he realizes, they have known each other for a very long time.
Song Chon baie, Détective Jang wanted d'arrêt tout shoot.
Detective Jang raises his hand and immediately fires a shot.
Song Chon smirks.
He says that years ago, he smashed his father's skull.
Détective Jang stepped closer.
His gun-holding hand would not stop shaking. Song Chon suddenly pulled out a bottle opener. The very next second, fresh blood gushed out. The old chairman slumped onto the sofa, his whole body convulsed. The new assistant immediately rushed forward and pulled Detective Jang away. Song Chon was arrested on the spot. The two brothers were in the car over there, each lost in their own thoughts. Neither could sleep.
Robin said softly.
One morning, many years ago, after waking up, he opened the door as usual, and found his parents collapsed in the living room. That smell of fresh blood, to this day, he still can't forget. The police said that someone broke in and killed his parents. He really wanted to get revenge, but felt powerless, until he met Song Chon. That was the bravest thing he ever did in his life.
In the police car escorting the prisonnier.
Song-chan asked him to loosen his hand a bit. The police officer did not pay attention. Song-chan took off his glove, revealing his dry, thin hands like tree branches. He was panting and said he had diabetes and high blood pressure. If this continued, before he even reached the police station, he would suffocate and die. The police officer next to him was helpless, and was about to loosen his grip a little, but as he leaned down, Song-chan bit him right on the neck. The police officer in the passenger seat drew his gun, but Song-chan elbowed him onto the seat. The car immediately became chaotic.
Song-chan went wild, like a horse out of control.
The car started swerving. After hitting the curb, the car flipped onto its side on the road. The disco warlord crawled out of the car. He disappeared into the darkness with a gun.
When the sun rose,
the two brothers simply headed south, to the southern province. They planned to cross the border from here. While eating breakfast, the television was showing the news about the serial killer Song-chan, who was arrested last night, who killed 2 police officers during transport and escaped. Before the two could recover from the shock, they saw their photos. The police listed the 3 of them as members of a criminal organization. The 2 of them quickly left the breakfast place. Robin contacted 2 local contacts, who provided a full service to get people abroad. After agreeing on the price, Robin and Lee Tang drove to the port. On the way, Robin received a call from Song-chan. Lee Tang asks who called.
Robin lies,
saying it is the bank calling about a credit card payment. Lee Tang stops the car at a bus station. They are now wanted. The license plate is fake. They will surely be stopped if they take the highway. Traveling together makes them too big of a target. Robin suggested they split up. Lee Tang, while Robin went to the restroom, installed tracking software on his phone. The 2 of them, one by car, arranged to meet at the pier. But when Lee Tang arrived at the pier, he could not find Robin anywhere. Robin had not come to the pier. He returned to Seoul to find Detective Jang, told him he knew where Song-chan was. Meanwhile, Song-chan was carrying flowers to the hospital to visit his father. Detective Jang asked Robin how many people he had killed.
If you conf now,
it can still be considered turning yourself in. Just as he finished speaking, his phone rang. It was a call from the hospital. The doctor on the other end told him, "Your father's oxygen tube was removed by someone, and he has passed away." Detective Jang angrily rushed out of the hospital. As he started his car, he asked where Song-chan was. Meanwhile, Lee Tang finds Robin's suicide note in his bag. It turns out, Robin never intended to go abroad with Lee Tang. After a brief hesitation, Lee Tang steals a civilian's motorcycle and returns to the station where they parted ways. He turns on his phone, discovered Robin has returned to Seoul. On his way to find Song-chan, Robin admitted that he and Lee Tang killed the prosecutor, but there was a reason. He opened a video. He said it was found on the prosecutor's phone. That guy had raped a high school student under 18. Detective Jang slammed on the brakes in anger. He pulled Robin out of the car. Shouting, he asked the other person, "What right do you have to decide who dies?" Robin looked up and asked Detective Jang in return,
when the law kneel before power.
When morality has an affair with money, when justice rapes the weak, what should an ordinary person choose? Is it to endure patiently, or is it to wait for justice that is forever stuck halfway? Detective Jang thought for a long time. He still could not figure out the answer. Robin continued to ask, are they going to find Song-chan? Is there an arrest warrant? Was this action approved by superiors? Detective Jang spoke aggressively. He had a good reason to do so. Lee Tang followed the tracker to an abandoned factory. The old light bulb flickered.
Song-chan passed back and forth under the light,
recounting the old story from that year.
You are the son of a murderer.
Becoming a police officer is truly not easy. He studied hard in all his subjects, thinking that someday he could become a detective like his father, Detective Jang.
Until one day,
the eatery owner wanted to return to her home country. His father, Detective Jang, asked him to take a box of deer antlers to her. A few days later, that lady was arrested. The charge is transnational drug trafficking. The evidence shown on TV is the deer antler box that Detective Jang's father gave to the madam. Song Chon confronted his senior. He thought he would be told it was an undercover operation. Instead, his senior beat him up badly. In that moment, the hero in Song Chon's heart died. He decided to fight back. I hit him once. At that moment, his face showed clear disbelief. Lee Tang suddenly appeared,
interrupting Song Chon.
Song Chon raised his gun and fired.
Lee Tang hid in the shadow.
The next second, he quickly approached with a knife. The knife blade plunged into Song Chon's stomach. The two immediately wrestled with each other. Robin rushed forward to help, wanting to grab the gun from Song Chon's hand.
Detective Zhang leaned out al fouet,
aiming at Song Chon's head. After a gunshot, Song Chon and Robin fell to the ground at the same time. The bullet went through Song Chon's waist and lodged in Robin's heart.
Lee Tang knelt down.
But Robin was already dead. Song Chon stood aside, saying Detective Zhang's father was not a bad person. He only dealt drugs because he was too poor. So poor his wife called him useless.
Lee Tang stepped forward,
telling Detective Zhang to hand over the gun. Detective Zhang gritted his teeth and asked, "What right do you have to decide someone else's life or death?" One month later, Chief Park announced at a press conference that the police had officially solved the extremely serious serial murder case.
Suspect Song Chon.
Within 5 years, he murdered more than 30 people.
Accomplice Robin.
He was responsible for destroying evidence. The two criminals were extremely cunning. They never left any evidence at the crime scenes. Fortunately, they found at the professor's crime scene in Busan.
À Alphiten Yellow Peach.
Forensics confirmed Robin was present at the scene.
Through the bite marks on the golden peach.
In addition, they also discovered a secret warehouse at Robin's house, inside which were displayed several weapons stained with the victim's blood. On each weapon were Song Chon's fingerprints. A reporter asked where university student Lee Tang from the gang had gone.
You handle it yourself.
Let us just say it is what that kid wanted. Running away is fine too. Time flew by, and 3 years passed.
Detective Zhang, à usual,
bought a pack of gum.
Suddenly, the TV broadcasted breaking news.
Kim, who died mysteriously last month, was identified as the main suspect in the kidnapping case 3 years ago. After investigating, the police discovered Kim's DNA perfectly matched the DNA of the suspect in that year's kidnapping case. Alright, if you are looking for a movie that is both thrilling and makes you think after every episode, then A Killer Paradox is a choice you can't miss. A Killer Paradox is not just a crime drama, but also a moral question that makes viewers constantly ponder.
Killing the wicked is it a sin or justice?
See you all next time. Bye bye.